Finally!
I don't get why it does that. It's annoying shit.
Alright, so we're back.
Yes.
We just left with Sarmeo and Brago beginning to make their way towards the awning portal after leaving Sarmeo's family's home.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to switch views real quick.
Ooh.
And Zin, as you said, you don't sleep very well,
Yeah,
so I'd say
like,
you get your bare minimum of 8 hours. Yeah.
But yeah, like I get my minimum and I tend to just like wake up.
But even then, you wake up and you feel a little bit stronger, a little bit more ready to go today than you did yesterday. Seeing that you guys are all now level 2.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what do you do?
I go downstairs. And I sit at the bar. And honestly, like, kind of like thinking back to the day before and the commitment I made that, like,
You're now involved in some shit.
yeah, exactly. That I don't even know if I was 100% ready on a personal level to make, but I did, and that's
here
what
we
happened.
are.
Now I'm here. And so I go down to the bar, and I order maybe not an ale, but something a little stronger, and some breakfast.
Yeah, and Danon brings you over a small glass filled with a clear brown liquid. You smell it, and it smells like a really good smelling rye whiskey. That and the food, let's see, why don't you give me a shard and we'll call it good.
Sounds good to me. And I put down 3 shards and tell him to give me 1 more whiskey and down the one he already gave me.
You got it. And yeah, he goes and fills up your glass. He actually just reaches down and grabs a bottle and fills your glass up again.
Perfect.
There's a few people just kind of spaced out around the bar. Nothing too exciting going on. It's still pretty early. Most of the people that are sitting around are by themselves, just kind of eating breakfast.
I put down 1 more shard and say that's for Sabian's breakfast when he gets down here.
Sounds good. Yeah, and so how much earlier do you wake up?
Like,
I guess the question would be, when do you wake up?
I would say on the scope of, like, what a normal day would look like at our time, I'd say I wake up at, like, 5:30 a.m. Like very early, but, like, to the point where I would have had, like, enough rest. Like, or, like, 6, you know, like, just, like, much earlier than a regular person.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I'd say with how late you guys got in.
It was like 2.
Yeah, it was like 2
Oh,
when you guys
true.
got there.
Okay. I didn't realize it was so late. I was thinking it was more like
Yeah.
11. Okay.
So I'd say
So it
probably
was
around like
2
9 or 10 you would
Okay.
get up. But when you wake up, it still seems kind of dark outside just because of like the weather. It's
Because
super
it's,
cloudy.
Yeah, and
there's a
it's the
bunch of
middle of
snow
winter, so
everywhere.
very short days.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
kind of
totally.
dingy.
Like,
So you wake up and you head downstairs and you get your breakfast, and then probably like half an hour later, after you finish your breakfast, you're almost done with your other drink. You see Renair and Bolo walk in.
Damn it! You couldn't
and
cut
they
them
approach-
off at the door.
I'm the only one down here still.
You don't know if we're doing 1 or 2 campaigns right now,
You don't know yet.
Campaign 2.
so.
Yeah, and
Campaign 2.
They walk up to the bar, and you look over, and they see you, and you see them get kind of like concerned, like confused look on their face, and they approach you.
I would be waking up probably about this time.
Okay. Do you do anything as in particular for your morning routine?
I would like to have a think about my dream.
I would like to have a think, please.
I would like to roll and think.
That's 1 unit of...
hours.
Yeah.
Think resolves.
Can I just think about any sort of, like, do I know anything about this figure in Mintarn's history, or did I pick up anything in my time there?
Which figure?
The one in the sky, yeah.
Yeah. Roll an intelligence check. With
Well,
advantage.
actually, any of it. I want to kind of blanket any of it, but
Yeah,
that one
just
stuck out.
roll a general intelligence check.
General intelligence?
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty good. 21.
21. So, with your amount of time on Mintarn, you know that on a yearly basis, the people of Mintarn pay a tribute to a red dragon that they call the Red Rage of Mintarn. You've never seen him yourself, but you do know that his name is Hundar. And it is very well known on the island of Mintarn that the populace kind of amasses a horde every year to appease it and keep it at bay.
Could you spell that dragon's name?
Hundar, Hoon Darrh.
Sorry, one more time.
Hoondarrh.
Yeah. Do they pay a yearly tribute to keep them appeased?
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
And like I said, you've never seen him before, but you've heard many stories.
Do I know anything about the fish people?
I'd say that you, especially being spending time on Mintarn, an island in the middle of the ocean, you've definitely heard of these people. I'd say you've probably seen one or two that have kind of like become more civilized and like taken to like a general public, but not many.
Right. And then in the stream, you mentioned that I seem to be larger than these individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Did I seem different in any other way?
Like to you, you seemed almost disembodied. You didn't feel a form of yourself, and you didn't see a form of yourself.
I see. Okay. So it's just like just the camera view.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay. All right. I think that's all I really have.
Cool.
And I will pull on some clothes and clean clothes and head downstairs.
Cool. So as that's happening, Volo and Renee approach you at the bar. Zin?
Hi.
What are you... I'm confused. What are you doing here? Your companion said that you traveled through some sort of portal last night.
Yeah.
They said you were dead.
No, I'm right.
Nah,
That was the
perfect Dust shoulder off.
Nah, bro, that's not me.
I mean,
I mean,
I
and
can-
then
I
Renee
can
chimes in. I saw you go through it.
I mean, I can see how they would think that, but I mean, it might have been a little foolish on their parts to assume.
Where did you go? How did you get back? What happened?
I mean, I found my way back.
How?
I wandered until I found my way back. That's all I'm gonna say. It was a lot of, wandering, but I found my way.
Very strange. Do you know where you ended up?
No, but I killed the mind flayer.
You see Renee like
Do I know it was a mind flayer?
from your previous experience?
Yeah,
yes.
like I would. Okay, yeah, no. I mean, not necessarily, but I killed the mind flayer.
You see them both kind of like double take, and you killed it?
with the help of Sabian. Yeah.
That
What was his
is
job liver?
unbelievable.
Yeah.
How?
He's just the corpse in a closet.
But
How did you manage?
I
It's
mean,
not a feat one accomplishes easily.
unfortunately, at level 1, no less. Unfortunately, Polis did not make it, but me and Sabian did.
Sabian's here too?
That he is.
Down the stairs.
Well,
Ah.
that is...
Ah. I need some bacon. Quick!
Stat. Coming up.
As I approach may I have my
Yeah.
figure? I guess I would come down this stair and approach the woman.
Well, that's, you all had quite the evening last night.
You said it, my friend. That was insane. I don't even know why I did it, but I did.
Yes,
I know why I did.
Renee here chimes in. Yes, nobody understands why you all decided to follow that thing. If you ask me, it was a very poor choice.
I order a whiskey, and I shoot it, and I say, it was a poor choice, but sometimes you just gotta piss in the face of God.
I hold up my glass to you.
Yes. Yes, you do.
If you must, all right then.
I don't think I'll be doing it anytime soon again.
Well,
Speak for yourself.
well, let us grab a drink and wait for your friends.
Oh yes, whatever. What happened when they returned here?
As we were telling Zen here, Renee then takes over for Volo and chimes in and says, "Yeah, we came back and we had assumed you all weren't making it back. We had no idea where that opening went and why you all went through.
Let me
So
just say,
we decided to get away with our own lives intact and get flown out of there."
let me just say, rumors of my demise.
Oh, God.
Good.
Wow.
How long were you waiting on
So long!
New goal. Say that in every D&D game I play.
It was the longest of walks, and it was still so satisfying. Anyway. Yes, we are not, as you can see, we are not dead.
We aren't?
We made it out of the eye unscathed.
Out of the eye.
Of the storm, it's a metaphor.
Ah, I see. Yes, well, apparently you have.
Warrior poet, indeed.
Congratulations. You've proven yourselves very skilled.
It was terrifying, to be honest.
I do not doubt that one bit.
For me, at least.
I
I
have only
don't know about Zen, but
recorded information on these beasts. To see one and actually combat it and live.
I
It's
never want
astounding.
to see one of those again. Seeing what it did. Well, I will never forget that. It was horrifying.
Face of death is always hard to forget.
I want to see them again, but only so I can do again what I did in 1 year. So.
Death is one thing. Getting your brain sucked out of your skull by a tentacle-faced creature is something else entirely.
They are not to be trifled with, that is evident. Well, let us enjoy some drink while we wait for your friends. And they kind of motion.
I'm sure they'll be glad to see us.
To this table. Renee and Bolo take a seat near,
I would
near the
absolutely
fireplace.
love
we are totes coming. We're brunching with Bolo.
I'm brunching with Volo.
Bolo's guide to brunch.
All it says is bacon.
And then mimosas.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so you guys sit down and have some light conversation going over the previous night's events.
I give them. I just answer any question they ask.
Yeah.
Truthfully, I'd assume.
I
Unless
mostly
it's about-
wanted to wait.
My work.
Yeah. I mostly wanted to
Right.
wait for you to be able to answer questions. Like, I wanted to be
Oh,
as
yeah.
vague as possible
Yeah.
on my part. Like, and...
Yeah. I do all the time.
And then a few minutes later, Sarmay and Braga walk in.
Okay.
Before that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You go ahead.
I would like to RP.
Yeah.
So while we're walking, I'm just gonna turn to Samaya and be like, "So your family thinks we're fucking, right?"
Whoa!
I don't think they think about it. Who cares?
Well, yeah. I mean, you bring home a guy and we're in the same room, right? That's what you're gonna think.
Everyone in the house brings home people sometimes. Who cares?
Really? Oh, I don't care. I mean, I like you,
I did ask
but-
for the room, but they might assume it. I don't think we don't talk about it.
Okay.
Somehow he managed to be more forward than the bard, and I love it.
I mean, I'm not interested in you like that, but I just figured that
Yeah.
I'd air it that they probably think that. Okay, cool.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, friends.
Friends. Alright.
Wow.
Now, as we're friends,
Yeah.
you heard of the concept of a wingman.
Yes. Yes. I think I've heard of
There
that.
it is. There it is.
There's the bard.
Yes, that's.
They're a race called the Aarakocra.
That's where you're on a mission and you're going and somebody else covers for you while you're like fighting.
It's more they make you look really cool.
Oh,
It
okay.
doesn't have to be fighting. So when I'm talking to a lady or a fella,
Uh-huh.
and I'm giving them some kind of look,
Uh-huh.
that's when you step
Some
in
kind
and
of
talk
look.
about my heroic deeds.
Oh, I get it.
I can
okay,
do the same
yeah.
for you. Talk
Yeah,
about
I
that
appreciate
mind
that.
flayer that I killed and
Yeah. Yeah.
that giant
You
half
didn't actually kill it though, right?
No.
Okay,
so you're talking me up.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah, I got it.
exaggerate.
I got it. Sure.
And lie.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So like when I'm talking, is it good to have big horns or is it bad to have big horns? Is that something I should accentuate? I don't know.
You know, I'm gonna be honest. It's a little personal.
Okay.
You know, you're not a tiefling. We
Just walk me through it.
don't tell the other tieflings we talked about this.
Oh, don't worry. Your secret's safe with me.
Don't tell the other two.
I mean, I just want to know if I'm telling somebody, I'll be like, hey, my friend Sarmaya, she's got horns. She's got just, I don't know, great big ones,
Great
really
big
small ones. Or maybe they're like, they're really
Average,
rippled nice.
really.
Average is good?
Rippled, yeah.
Okay. What do you want them to
Rippled
be?
for your pleasure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's best pointing out my tiefling nature, you know, the passion that comes in every tiefling.
Got
Got
it.
it.
I will talk about your passionate horns.
That
horn
biggest
passion.
ones.
Okay.
Seeing this tiefling girl, she's got the biggest ones.
It's not about the size, it's about how you use them.
Mm-hmm. She's very good with her. She's very good with her horns.
This is awesome.
Just like
Yeah,
peak
and
role playing right here.
yeah, okay, and this is a two-way street, yeah.
With other tieflings, sure. I don't discriminate though. I fuck anything, not you.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
we're friends.
Well, yeah, we established
That's
that.
the most backhanded.
Or old people. I'm not really into old people.
Wait, what did you say? Did you just call me old?
I don't know how old you are. Like I
Older
said,
than you.
I like
Oh,
tieflings and humans mostly. That's and the interesting ones like the dragonborn.
oh yeah, yeah.
I like her. I mean, I liked her. She's-
I was
She's something I'm dead.
I was kind of guessing that you liked her. Huh. Rest in peace. But
Right.
yeah. No, I like dwarves. Humans have caught my eye a bit, but unlike you, I'm only interested in guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So don't bother talking me up to the lady dwarfs.
You like casual stuff? You looking for a husband?
Well, so I don't know. I've really only paid for sex before.
Oh, we gotta change that.
Yeah.
I get wingman.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can change
Okay.
this.
Cool. I
I got
appreciate
your back.
that. Yeah. All right. Thanks. Hey, this is cool. I like this.
Yeah. Oh, what race is Durnan? Is he human?
Yes.
That's it.
Cool.
The thing I want to do involves when we actually walk in and first spot them.
I mean, unless you guys want to do anything else along your way.
I don't.
Okay. Cool. RP'd successfully.
Yeah.
That was,
Success noted.
most successfully.
that was amazing.
We had a bro bonding moment.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I know, that was amazing.
Yeah, so you guys end up walking the rest of the way to the awning portal, and you walk in the door and you see sitting next to the hearth is Volo and Renair, joined by Sabian and Zin.
Do we see them before they see us?
You would see Volo and Renair see you walk in, but the two of them, because of where they're sitting, have their backs to you.
So, but I will notice I know who they are from behind.
It's kind of hard
Yeah,
to miss
okay.
a giant blue dragon.
So I'm gonna throw my arm up against Brago and like try to go against the wall if we can to be out of sight and be like, "Did you see that?"
Oh, what? Oh.
I mean, you're still in the bar though, right?
Yeah. If we can't like actually like go behind something, I still do the arm thing the whole time.
So you guys walk in.
Wait.
Yeah,
You need me,
Wait,
right?
yep.
Yeah. Not this guy.
Not yet,
I don't
guys.
know that guy.
That's
That's not me. Who the fuck is this guy? Some random blank.
Roll a perception, you completely miss Brago and hit someone
Roll a
else.
stealth check.
You want me to as well?
That is a 15.
Are you trying to hide after
I
she
mean-
makes the motion?
Yes, I would. I mean, I'd be confused as hell for a second, but if you're like shh really quickly, then yeah.
Then make your stealth check with disadvantage.
Deal.
There's a 15.
I got a natural 1.
So you try to go like put your arm out and move Brago, and instead you just catch him completely off guard and push him to the floor.
I'm just gonna like, huh! What was that for?
Did you see who was at that table with Volo and Rainier?
What? Well, I'll be a
And
dragon's
I was
kid.
gonna say you see Volo and Renair just like looking at you guys, and they kind of like
I'm assuming we see these.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
you see them
I'm-
go like that.
I'm turning in my seat.
Yeah, and you see Brago getting up off the ground, and Sarmea just kind of standing there over him, but she's like pressed against the wall.
Wait. First roll tonight, natural 1.
Ooh. I won't help Brago up at all, and I'll start walking.
Perfect. Yeah, so you guys move over towards the table.
So guys, I just want to describe what I'm wearing.
Go on. You'll see this.
See?
You'll catch this. You'll catch this on my Instagram later.
Posting it on the gram.
I am wearing a
So cute,
long.
Mike, delete
A
later.
long.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
What'd you say?
Felt cute.
Cute.
Might delete later.
I delete never. Like,
Hashtag killing myself.
Hashtag cock lips.
okay. I am wearing a long, floor-length dark gold velvet gown that's backless, like it has like a huge dip in the back, long sleeved, and then you can't see my shoes. And then I guess since it's cold outside, I would have a charcoal gray cloak with my hood on that I start taking off as we get to the table. I look nice.
This is her house buying clothes.
I know. Putting on airs.
Yeah.
I'm
What
wearing
kind
my
of
red trench
footwear
coat.
did you wear to walk across the city in that dress?
Footwear?
What kind of footwear?
Oh, I mean, you don't see it, but I'm wearing my leather boots that I always wear.
That's fair. I was just curious from a logistical standpoint.
Yeah.
I'm
So
wearing
Sarmea walks up to the table acting like she did not just push Brago on the floor. That didn't happen, and you
Yep.
see her start to remove this gray cloak, and underneath it is just this golden dress. That
It's
she
really
just
well
described.
made.
And Brago comes up like a little ways behind her as you have to pick yourself up off the floor. Welcome.
Whoa.
What have you guys been discussing?
Wow. Bolo kind of chimes in. We were just discussing with your friends the events of last evening. It sounds like they had quite the night.
Did Volo tell us about the house in the conversation?
He hasn't mentioned it yet.
Also,
just said
without
we were
saying
waiting for
anything, I
your
go to the
friends.
bar and buy
Sure.
Sarmea a whiskey.
Damn, shit is It's like a bachelor in here.
Bolo sets a dragon in your hand and says, why don't you get around for the entire table? We should celebrate your new findings.
Findings, you say?
When I get to the bar, I ask how much a bottle is.
A bottle of what? What are you looking for?
Whiskey, preferably.
We-
Breakfast whiskey.
2 shots.
I put down. Wait, he gave me a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I put down the dragon, and I say, well, this is for the bottle and breakfast for everyone else, and the rest is for you.
Thank you. I'll make sure that comes over right away.
Thank you.
And he gives you the bottle, and he kind of looks over and counts the people at the table and sets an appropriate number of glasses down with it.
Excellent. Well, in that case, I pour Sarmea's.
All right.
I'll
And
take it and just look over at Brago.
And then I'm gonna look up and look over at Glenn and just be like,
fantastic.
Man,
Oh man.
this party is getting...
before level 4.
I was gonna say, this party is gonna get laid.
You mean a level 4G?
Oh shit.
oh man.
Well done.
Whew.
All right.
Cool.
So
I'm officially crying. It's good.
Brago is sitting in that chair because Sarmea is obviously sitting on the end that Zin is next to.
Yeah.
Obvi.
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 Did everyone say Obvi?
I believe so.
Obvi.
There you go.
And as you sit down, Zin sets down the bottle. Volo reaches out and fills everybody a glass and raises it and says, "To your new home."
New home?
Clink.
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 Yes.
What's this about a new home?
Yeah, that'd be
Drink?
clink first, ask questions later.
Yeah.
Brago and I, or all of us, Willow doesn't have any money, so
Calling it out.
we're getting a house.
As you start to explain that, he reaches down and pulls out a black scroll tube and sets it on the table.
Oh, yeah.
My mom said that we should look at it before we sign anything.
Well, yeah, that's
My
just
dear,
like
I
common
told
knowledge.
you should look at it before you sign anything.
Oh, I forget stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna look at it before, but
You should read the. Maybe Volo could tell you a little bit about the house.
Yes, as I told them when they returned last evening with Floon, I regrettably don't have a lot of coin to spare at the moment, but as payment for you all finding my lost friend, I have here the deed to a property in the North Ward that, upon your inspection, will be yours.
It is the property you live in.
It is a property I own. I have not lived in it. I actually bought it hoping to do some research for my new book, Volo's Guide to Specters and Spirits. It is said that an old barkeep by the name of Leaf is said to still hang around. But in the amount of time I spent there, I have not had any luck contacting him, so it may have just been a hoax.
I should have asked this last night, but are these dangerous spirits?
As I said, I have not been able to interact with it, so
The
it may not even be there.
The important part
Hence
is
me being willing to get rid of this. It hasn't turned up any decent research for my new project.
So it might not be haunted.
True.
Interesting.
I've been told that it is, but I've not experienced it myself.
the important part is that it's in the North Ward.
You're not
We're-
wrong.
We're bumping elbows with nobles up in there.
Mm-hmm.
Hence,
This.
Hence, look at this
Hence your
shit.
ridiculous outfit.
do you say that out loud?
Yes.
Did you fucking say that?
You say that to my face?
This is. I wear this when I perform sometimes. It's really nice. My
There's
brother
6
made
inches
this.
of snow outside and you wore that? Are you insane?
I look
She
good.
I mean, yeah, you look good, but
I
it's totally impractical.
I'll lift up at my skirt.
With
still,
boots?
I'm still wearing boots. The gown covers my feet, so I still look nice.
He's like a frontiers woman. Like, I'm dressed nice, but I got my shit kickers on.
And then I'll also pull my dagger out of my boot. And I still have this.
Oh, don't worry. I have mine too.
All right, guys, we're not here to compare daggers.
Well, I don't have any horns to compare, so
I'm sorry, I don't get it.
I don't either. If I'm reading this right, this is a troll skull manor.
Troll Skull Manor, yes.
Troll skull. Let's see. And on Troll Skull Alley.
It is located in Troll Skull Alley, yes.
Okay. Since I am proficient with forgery kits, can I inspect this to see if it's a forgery?
Relevant and appreciated.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, go for it. I guess that would be...
Not a bad plan.
What would that be? Probably an intelligence check?
I'm at proficiency bonus?
Yeah.
15.
It seems legit.
I like study
The
this
wax
like,
seal that's
way
on
more
it
intensely than
seems
anyone
like real
else.
wax. It's...
I like
It
feel
seems
it.
official.
I like look at it like this. It looks. I'm
You
sure.
like hold it up to the
Yeah,
light.
I'm sure it looks pretty weird to everyone else at the table. And I'm like, well then, I can't wait to see this Troll Skull Manor.
Yes, I mean,
This appears to be
after
on the up and up, just so you all know.
after you
Good to know.
take possession of it, you were free to call it whatever you'd like.
Ooh.
Nope, it's still
Sorry,
Troll
sir.
Skull Manor.
It is also, as I said, the supposed poltergeist that is said to reside there was a barkeep that used to run the tavern that is on the main floor of it.
It's a tavern?
It is.
Well. That is good to know.
That is very good to know.
Thank you
Like-
for that information.
And that could be profitable.
We would have found that out pretty soon, too.
Do we own the tavern too?
You do. It's part of the building.
Is the tavern active now, or would we have to?
It is not. As I said, this building hasn't been lived in for some time.
Got it.
It will need a little work to get the tavern up and running if you do decide to open it for business.
Mm-hmm.
But if you all approve, it's yours.
Well, let's finish up here and go inspect
Yes.
Yes, please.
And
establishment.
Volo goes to take a drink, and as he gets like mid-sip, you kind of see his eyes widen a little bit as he looks past you guys at this figure that happens to walk past behind your table and head to the bar. And as he passes by your table, you guys don't really take any mind, and that figure doesn't pay any mind to you guys. But you see just kind of a taller man, pale white skin, short black hair, and you see him walk up to the barkeep, and you see them start exchanging some words. But the whole time he moves past you, you see Volo kind of like keep his eyes on him. And then once he gets to the bar, Volo doesn't say anything to anybody, and you see him.
I follow if I see Volo do that, I follow.
Yeah,
You
I
see
would
Volo set his glass down and stand up, push his chair back, and he walks right over, stands right behind the gentleman, and says, "Maven? Is that you?"
Something strong. Volo?
My
By
God,
the lady's veil.
it's been years.
I mean, it has. I haven't seen you in forever. What are you doing in this establishment?
This I frequent quite often. It's one of the most popular spots in Waterdeep.
Oh, that's why they pointed me towards here.
That makes sense. Did you just get into town?
Just a little while ago. Just probably about, what? On the morn. Right now.
Interesting. What are you doing around these parts?
Well, you can't just frequent one area. They get to know you too well. Now you need to go to other places and let your visions and your name spread. As you know.
As you know that I know. Well, this is quite serendipitous.
Yes.
You said Bolo got up. That's over
Yeah,
there.
Volo
Got it.
walked over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here. Barkeep, could I get a second round, please?
Don't bother, Donin. Would you like to come meet my new friends? We actually already have a bottle.
Certainly. And he takes the shot and just finishes it, puts it down, and he throws down 2 shots. Cool. Thank you, sir. Hey.
And
All
you
right.
guys, Volo comes back to the table and
You
says,
got-
We're
Everyone.
just swinging his dick. Just
Welcome to the dick swinging party.
I love it.
The
I love
DSK.
it. Yeah.
friends, may I introduce you to Maven Ebo? Is Ebo?
It is.
Okay, cool. I just wanted, out of game, I wanted to make sure I
Okay.
pronounced it right. He's a friend of mine that I haven't seen in a number of years. And he just happens to wander into this tavern in this town.
What does he look like?
Would you like to describe your character?
Sure. Again, almost like pale white skin with a bit of kind of like a glisten to it.
A little bit of a sheen.
Little sheen. Like ice blue eyes, short, kind of coiffed black hair. Nice robes, black, mostly.
You
So-
pretty?
oh, I'm so pretty. It's
Absolutely.
not even funny. And he just holds himself up high. Nothing, like no stub on the chin. He seems to have a chain kind of coming around his neck, but it falls below the collar. So you kind of don't see it. Otherwise, he's just like, yeah, he's just standing there. Well, a friend of Volo's is a friend of mine. How do you do? Mavram Evo. Obviously. I mean, wait. You've heard of me, right? Yes? No? No?
No. My name's Sabian Stormwind.
Pleasure.
I hold out my hand and shake.
Can I do a nature check to see if I know what race he is?
Go for it.
Golden God.
Not 20.
Golden God,
Ooh.
clearly.
Damn.
I may need to borrow this D20.
Well, I did steal one from you a long time ago, so it might just be...
Tradesies.
Yeah, there you go. You recognize, especially the features of the skin that seems to almost glow. You recognize him as an Asmar.
I have no idea how to spell that.
There's 2 A's in it. A.
You telling me you didn't hear of the Goblin invasion of Neverwinter? What about the Orc attack at Daggerford? No? No? Okay.
Have I heard of these?
Are there any songs about you?
No.
You probably would have heard the Goblin invasion move, unless you were just making shit up.
That is... Wait. Yeah.
Consequences.
I would say yes.
You're making shit up, or yes, it actually
No,
happened?
that actually happened.
Okay, then...
What about the giant spiders of the Misty Forest?
Oh yeah, the goblin one. Yeah, I'm familiar.
Yeah, I had a very strong hand in sending them back to their hovels, back into their caves.
Well, nice to meet you. Brago Thunderfoot.
Pleasure.
I would like
Labor
to
me.
incite this individual to see if he's full of shit.
Are there any songs about you?
Not yet. Why? Do you make songs? I could definitely use one or two about myself.
Fine.
I could make it happen,
Well,
maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
To you, he seems confident as shit. He sounds like he knows what he's talking about.
Well, my dear little horned one, we can talk.
When he looks at Sarmea, she's gonna straighten up her posture and smile and just look real cute and fancy.
But you're all sitting around having drinks this early morning. What's the occasion?
Celebration.
Oh, perfect.
This lot here helped me find a friend that had gone missing. And this morning we celebrate their payment.
Well,
Hey, where's
True.
Carlos?
Oh yeah.
was that the
of
friend you were
course.
looking for?
Oh no, that's a different friend. He's a friend that we left behind.
Why'd you do that?
Yeah, well, where'd you leave him?
Sometimes you just have to. They can't always follow you.
That's true. They
Did
can't.
you leave him with the Mind Flayer?
Well, we didn't leave him.
Excuse me? Mind flame?
You
Well-
don't know it as a mind flayer.
Yeah, I was like, there's a wait a minute. There's a lot of
Bolo-
outside
Bolo
information.
called it an illithid.
Oh, sorry.
Mm.
You left it with the Illithid?
Is that what those things
do
are called?
Do a note them.
I described
roll
it
an
to
H
Bolo.
check.
Well, I wouldn't say we left him with the Illithid. We
Oh,
ended up killing
we killed
that
the
creature.
Illithid,
Yes,
but
That's good.
but not before I watched it wrap its tentacled face around Quolus's head and
Oh, Quolus's
suck
head.
his brains out of his skull.
That's
Well,
pretty
So-
pretty
Definitely
crazy
a
way
reason
to-
you'd leave it
Celebration!
I don't know anyone that's died that way.
Nor I.
Alright. Well, I thought you were all dead, so.
Clearly.
Maverick kind of looks over at Bolo. Is this normal happening? Okay. Just checking.
Definitely not.
Interesting characters we got. But
We saw
It-
some things last night. Let's
You
just
know,
say.
it was a very noble fight that some of us couldn't continue because we had to take care of our dear, loyal friends.
Oh, you mean some of us couldn't continue because they were too chicken shit to run through the portal?
Or because they are loyal
I'm just
to
gonna
their dear friends.
drink.
Yeah, Volo and Renier are kind of doing the same thing. They're just kind of like watching this all happen, and just like sipping out of their glasses.
I was not in a position to make choices, so I'm just.
That's fair. Some of you were.
I'm gonna give Braga some eyes like, you're.
Yeah, I was very appreciative that she helped me stand back up when I was engaged with an enemy on the ground.
Yeah, well, we're lucky to be alive.
well,
As you all are.
that is a reason to celebrate.
That's true. It's true.
True.
You're
You see,
not wrong.
Maverick.
And it's earned us a tavern, apparently.
Oh, well, cheers to that.
Cheers indeed. Cheers to table.
And yeah, the table cheerses. Drinks are drained. The bottle is empty. And Bolo says, "Well, shall we be on our way?"
Yes. I would like to see what our new holdings have to show.
Agreed.
Mind if I tag along? Certainly wouldn't
Please.
mind seeing a. You said a bar?
I believe that's correct, sir.
Sure. Do you have any experience with sizing up fancy places?
Absolutely not. But I'm happy to come look.
Yeah, sure.
I'm sure
come
you-
along.
I'm sure you have a good eye.
A friend of
I have two.
A friend of Volo's is, I guess, ostensibly now a friend of ours.
Happy to be part of the group.
All right. Well then, I just have to run upstairs for a few things real quick. And I go upstairs and I put on my leather armor and I get the plushie thing that I put into a bag. I'm not gonna wear it openly.
While you're running up, I introduce myself to Samia. Never Amiibo. Pleasure.
Sarmei no Gukori.
Never Amiibo. Pleasure.
Sin.
Got it.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking like an overly cocky anime character.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Zin's definitely kind of side-eyeing you a little bit, just oh god.
Renee or never Emperor?
Never Amiibo.
Pleasure.
Never Emperor. No need. Pleasure.
I'm sure that with your dealings in Neverwinter and the Great Goblin Invasion, you may know my family.
I think me too. But if you're down this far, pretty sure I don't need to cry.
There's not much to pry. I don't interact with, especially my father, much, so not much to tell.
Always looking forward. I appreciate that.
I come back wearing warm clothes under my leather armor. Short
And the
sword.
group is standing there and ready to go.
Yeah.
Well, shall we?
Yeah.
As you guys make for the door, Volo kind of turns to me. If you've just gotten in town, maybe along our way, I can enlighten you to some of the lights of our wonderful city.
No, please. I actually have never mentioned Waterdeep. I always wanted to.
I'm sure I can help with that.
Please do.
I'd be happy of the assistance on that. All things. Thank you.
So, as you guys are walking out the door, Volo says, well, a good place to start would be the walking statues. And as you walk out of the yawning portal, he kind of points over to the southeast, and you see a giant statue that rises up in the air, and it's a male warrior in full plate armor with a sheathed longsword and a large shield sitting on the ground next to it. And
You're saying those things walk?
well, they used to. They don't anymore. Long ago, there was this incident called the Spell Plague, and when this occurred, there was only one of these large statues in town, and that statue to this day has never moved. But when the Spell Plague occurred, suddenly 6 more of these large structures just appeared in town and started to run rampant.
Oh. That must have been terrifying.
They caused an immense amount of damage. This one here, as he gestures to it again, is known as the Honorable Knight. It is said that when he stopped moving, he sheathed his sword, doffed his shield, and bowed to all opposing it, and then ceased to move. It was a very strange occurrence. It caused much death and destruction, but yet seemed very noble and honorable at its defeat, I guess, what you could call it. Nobody still really knows if they were defeated or not. It was very strange. As the lot of them ran through the town, the Watchful Order was able to stop about 3 of them, and then once those 3 were stopped, all the others just ceased to move.
I'm a member of the Watchful Order of
Very nice.
Magus and Protectors. We protect the city.
Wait, you're what?
Excellent.
Every
That's-
magic user in Waterdeep is.
It's true. Anybody found to have any magical abilities is requested to join the Watchful Order.
That
Basically
if,
come to the city's aid in times of strife.
Is that if you're staying here or just visiting?
That is if you are a resident.
Well, I'm not a resident yet, so I guess I won't be joining it.
No, but as you came through the gates, I imagine that you registered,
Had to, of course.
as all do. So you told them you were just visiting.
For now. So, I bet I could easily just go tell them again, couldn't I?
You absolutely could. And if they find out you were here longer than you told them that you would be, they'll find you, I'm sure.
Good to know. I will keep that in mind.
Yes, and so he, all right, this way, and he leads you guys down down to the next street over from the Omnium Portal, which is Cook Street, and you guys take a right and start to head north up Cook Street. You go up a couple blocks, and you come to an intersection where Cook Street intersects with Soothsayer's Way, and as you guys get there, Volo kind of points to the east, and you see this large mountain rise up out of the city. That is Mount Waterdeep, and as you can see, sitting atop the bluff at the bottom is this. And as he points over there saying this, you see this large, extravagant castle sitting on this bluff, and that is Castle Waterdeep. Many people are surprised by the fact that none of our royalty actually resides in Castle Waterdeep. For the most part, it is actually quite empty. It is actually used as a last line of defense for if the city ever comes under attack.
Interesting. So,
Yes.
a mountain in the middle of the city, no less, with a castle on top of it. I've yet to see that in a long time.
And what of that? And you see him point at the very top of the mountain, and sitting on top of Mount Waterdeep, you see this large statue of a griffin. And I mean, like, big enough that a storm giant could ride it. Oh, huge.
That's not a monument to the Griffin Cavalry. A lot of people think that, but it's not.
That is very correct.
What's the Griffin Cavalry?
Oh.
The Griffin Cavalry is a section of the City Watch that are trained specifically in riding upon griffins and patrolling the skies.
That would be a sight to behold.
It's really
It is.
cool.
If you stay here long enough, you will surely see one.
There's not any, like, flying around right now?
Not
Okay.
no.
Just making sure.
Um,
It's like, oh yeah, that one. No.
But on top of the mountain here is where the Peaktop Aerie sits, which is where they reside and train.
Interesting. Riders for Griffins.
And this statue in particular, named so for its beastly shape, the griffin, was actually the last of these statues to appear. It actually appeared after the Spell Plague and showed up unannounced out of nowhere to protect Castle Waterdeep during an attack.
So, it was moving as well?
It was.
Huh.
And not just moving, it flies.
You Madigan. Was this the one that has moved since Sarmay has been alive?
That was the last one to move.
Okay. I was still alive.
I'm
And-
still alive.
Well, good to know it's kept.
She did talk like that. She stumbled over her words.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yes, it hasn't.
I was
hasn't moved
selling
in.
cheese.
It hasn't moved in a little over a decade, but
Cheese is very delicious. It's good for you, too.
it was positioned down by Palace Waterdeep, where the nobles actually do reside, where the Open Lord resides, and where the masked lords conduct their business.
But you can't
but
go
then-
there
It's true, you
Good
cannot.
to know.
You have to be beckoned.
because of the floating.
but
You don't
then-
go there.
But then after
Loading. Yeah.
after
Don't
years
go.
of safety, the Griffin one day decided to relocate up to the top of the mountain.
Interesting. And hasn't moved since.
It has not.
Has it gone unnoticed? I mean,
As far as we know, as the other ones, they all moved as if they were natural beings, but
Interesting. That is, I've just seen many a thing. That is, yeah, that is one for the books.
yes, let's continue.
Yes,
so you guys turn right down Soothsayer's Way and start to head west. You guys then come to the high road, and as you go to turn north, you come around the corner and you see what looks like, it almost looks to be like a double-decker bus with glass windows on the side, and it's being pulled by two horses. And instead of wheels, it has what looks like almost skis on the bottom of it to get through the snow. And you see it stopped, and on the back of it, there's a staircase that leads up to it. You can go inside, and then there's another staircase that goes up onto the roof. And there's a man, actually a half-orc in like a red kind of uniform that's standing right off the back step, 3 nibs for a ride. And you just see him kind of like calling out to people, trying to get.
This is a Dre.
This is a drink.
I mean, Bolo, friend.
Volo kind of looks over. Would you guys like to ride? It would be much more comfortable than walking through the snow.
I would say it's my first day here. I'd love to experience all of the wonders of this city.
Yes, and I can still
Why not?
fill you in on our
Please.
ride.
So,
Yeah.
if I could say, this whole time that Volo's like telling these things, Sarmea is like next to him. She is trying to like jump in and like throw her knowledge out too, and that's how it's supposed to come
Sure.
out.
On the opposite, like, so both of you on either side? Got it. Word.
And like probably also looking annoyed at some points because he definitely does know more than I do.
Sabian's trailing behind, and every time Sarmea talks, he makes a stupid mocking face. Like,
Do I observe that?
Yeah, I would imagine he's not hiding it.
Okay. On like the third time that he does it, I'm just like gonna slug him on the shoulder.
don't stop.
So I'd say that definitely happens before you guys even make it to the Dre.
Okay.
Because she's talking a lot.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, so you guys approach 3 nibs each. And he like holds out his hands. You guys go to get on.
Sarmea walks up, puts on her 3 nibs.
Nibs is
Copper.
Chopper.
Bolo, those are what again?
Those are the copper pieces.
Oh, good. He hands him silver. And do you make change, sir?
I can do that.
Here you go.
Gives you your 7 nibs back.
I have a conversion table here too.
Thanks. Officially almost filled out all of the things on mine.
Yeah, so you guys get on the Dre, and
Get put in some water, dude.
the guy the half-orc climbs back on the back steps behind you guys, and he just kind of stands there next to the back door. Somebody else is on the outside. You see him nice and bundled up, real thick furs, and he snaps the reins of the horses, and you guys start to slide through the streets. As you guys head north, Volo points out to another large statue that stands tall above the buildings, and he says, that one there is referred to as the Hawkman, and as you can actually see. And so when you look at it, it's a giant statue of a humanoid-looking creature with a large bird head and wings on its back. It almost looks like an Aarakocra.
Sarmea will blurt out, "You'll notice it's missing its right leg."
That's
Interesting.
correct.
How did that happen?
That was part of the stopping it during the spell plague. The Watchful Order had destroyed part of its leg in the fight.
That's where its power is then.
That has not been proven, but who knows?
People live inside it now.
Wouldn't that be dangerous?
That is true. The inside of it has been hollowed out.
I mean, it would be really cool if your house came to life.
Well, then would it be magical
You have a
or
story like
mechanical?
no one
not
else.
magical?
if you survive.
There were no moving parts
Bards
inside of
will
it. It was
sing of
solid
you.
stone and it was hollowed.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Ah.
Especially the fact that they just seem to appear. Some say that they came from the ethereal plane. So the thought is that they may have been standing right in this very place in their own plane, and then something happened when the spell plague occurred that shifted them to our world. But there's really no solid evidence of such.
I wonder what purpose they would have had in the ethereal.
Yes, it's quite bizarre.
Perhaps they were denizens going about their own business, and suddenly they were pulled here.
And what does that make of the ethereal plane itself if those are the people that live there?
I don't know. I've
I-
never
Not do I.
been to the ethereal plane.
It's a concern.
Neither do I.
Well, hopefully a thing like the spell plague never happens.
Oh,
Otherwise,
I
well,
should certainly hope not.
there are measures in place. Like I mentioned the Watchful Order that I'm a member of.
You did, yes.
And of course, there are other important
That's
people in the
totally
community.
unheard of.
Yes. We're getting closer to the market now as the dray moves along the high road. But before we get there, you'll notice this, and you'll notice the Great Drunkard, and you see this large stone statue of a man that seems to be just kind of like sitting down, arms at his side, and his head is kind of like just dropped forward on its chest with its eyes closed. It is said that when the spell plague happened and all these statues ceased to move, this one fell backwards and actually destroyed a building by sitting on top of it. But when the smoke cleared, its arms had just dropped to the side, and the way its posture was sitting there with its head on its chest made it look like it had just fallen asleep. But that building was obviously destroyed, and as you can see now, it has been turned into this, and he points at it, and it's just this giant like set of stairs that go up one side of it, and then kind of double back, and then go up onto the giant's lap. And there you see, actually built into his lap, is a large 2-story building. And he said, and then somebody got the idea to build a tavern up on its lap called Gralkin's Tankard. The combination of its posture and the new tavern has made the Great Drunkard quite a fitting name.
Also, you'll notice that its giant battle axe is in the ground there. Dwarves, you guys really like battle axes, right? You see
And
that?
you see sitting next to him on one side is just this stone battle axe that's dug like halfway into the street, and then its shaft is just straight up in the air.
Well, at some point, I'd love to go visit that in person if anyone wants to join.
Is this statue wearing armor like the other one?
Not like it's not full plate mail like the other one was,
Okay.
but it is wearing
Some
armor.
kind of armor. Okay.
Yes, and then moving on, as you look to your left here, we're passing by the marketplace.
My sister-in-law works there.
As many people work there. This market is,
Didn't
as you can
your
see, the
sister
size
in
of
law.
the city is quite large,
Doesn't live
and
in
this
my
market is size fitting such a large city. It is actually the largest market square of any of the northern cities. You can find just about anything you would need in this area.
Good to know.
And then
Sure.
just past it, he points, and you see another one of these large sculptures. But this one, you only see about from the waist up, and you see it's got its right arm reaching straight up towards the sky, and there's this large stone sphere floating above its hand, like it's reaching up towards. It's not. It's like connected to the hand. It's not like
okay.
actually floating above it, but
Okay.
it's like reaching up towards it. It's part of the sculpture. This one puts up probably the most ferocious fight of them all. This one has come to be referred to as the God Catcher. During the fight, the Blackstaff at the time, Sara Shadrin, cast a spell which thrust it downwards into the ground, and as you can see, one of its legs is completely buried underneath the earth. And you look at it, and its left leg is buried all the way up to the hip in the street, and then its right leg is like pushing against the ground, and its left arm are pushing against the ground, looking like it's trying to get up out of the ground as it's reaching up towards this thing. And very interesting, the sphere that it reaches for is actually home to a very unsociable sorcerer named Audra Blackcloak.
I saw her once in the market.
She does not make appearances in town very often. She's kind of a recluse.
Yeah, but I saw her once.
Interesting.
Most people only see her when she decides to make an appearance from her home, and she normally illuminates the sphere. And he points at it, and you can see this large, like square doorway right in the middle of the sphere.
Mhm.
And
You said Blackstaff. Actually, Dan, I'll go tell you what I know what that is. If I have never visited.
if you have never visited Waterdeep, probably
What denotes, is that a family name?
not. No, it is a position of power. The Blackstaff is the one in charge of running the. They are in charge of Force Grey, which is kind of elite team that is sworn to protect the city and its citizens.
This city seems to be very well guarded. It's good. Just in case. The world is a dangerous place. So
That it is, as this lot can already tell you. They've seen some strange things in this town which are not normal.
well, at some point when we're not going to visit your new tavern, I'd love to hear about it.
Yes. Yes, we shall have to catch up. But moving along, as you guys are heading even further north, he points to the to the east. Here is another one of our famous no longer walking statues. This one is called the Sword Maiden, and you will notice that as you guys look at it, it looks almost identical to the Honorable Knight. It's full plate armor. It's got a shield and sword, except this one is missing its head, and other pieces of it are actually missing as well. But you do notice that this one has more of a female form to it. He says, yes, after this one caused its chaos and destruction, the residents of the Northward were particularly angry and disgruntled, so they began almost immediately dismantling it once it ceased to move, to kind of take out their anger.
You'll find pieces of it are random in the Northward.
It's true. Its head has actually been hollowed out and turned into a shop called Thort's Findings. Undiver Thort hollowed it out and has turned it into his home as well as his shop.
What do they do with the stone? Is it good? Can you make stuff with it?
Yes, actually, that's what they did with a lot of it. A lot of the pieces that were taken off of it were incorporated into buildings or ground down for making new ones.
How is it different from normal stone? Is it magical in some way? Or?
That's the interesting thing. It's not different than normal stone.
That's a theory, it said.
As some have said that, yes, as we discussed, but still no solid proof of it. It's more speculation.
Mhm.
And then as you guys go past a little bit further, you say, this is where we're going to get off. And he kind of like signals to the guy standing at the back who hollers at the driver. They want to get off, and it takes a minute because you're on snow and it's got like these ski things instead of wheels. But the horses slow down and the drag finally comes to a stop, and they let you off. And all right, we're not far now. Follow me, and he leads you guys down Delzorin Street. Yeah, Delzorin Street is probably how it's said. You guys head east down Delzorin Street, and you walk down until you hit Whalegund Way, and then you turn left and head north one more block, and you take a left on Serdoon Street, and he walks down a couple buildings, and then you see like a streetway that comes off to the left, and he pulls you guys aside and says, "All right, this is Troll Skull Alley. Why don't I show you around a little bit?" And as you guys turn down that left side street, you begin to walk down this alleyway, and you see this building to your left. To your right, and it's a pretty plain looking building, but it's got these two large windows on the front of it. And as you guys walk by, you see the windows are filled with different kinds of like wooden furniture and like wood carvings and stuff like that. And then in the left window, you see a tall half-elf man that seems to be setting up kind of like a display with it's this large wooden desk, and he's got like a nicely carved like wooden armchair sitting behind it, and then on the floor in front of it is this kind of small wooden footrest with what looks to be like a soft, like velvety red pillow on the top of it. And Volo says, if you all decide you would like some new furnishings for your new place, this would be a great place to start. Tally makes very good products.
What's it called?
You look at the building, and above the doorway is a sign, but it's completely blank other than a big bent nail that's hammered into it. And Volo says, it is called the bent nail, as he kind of points at the sign.
Appropriate.
So you guys kind of move past that, and then the alley turns to the right. And as you guys turn around this corner, you see a large building across the street where you just see steam and smoke just billowing out of multiple windows all over this building. And Volo kind of says, if you all need any tools or any weapons of sorts, Embrick and Avi have really been making a name for themselves lately. And as you kind of walk past it, you see hanging above the door is a sign that says Steam and Steel. And so as you guys walk a few buildings down past that, and on your left, you see this large 3-story building like rise up and kind of sits high above the buildings that are next to it. And you notice that the top floor of this building has been, all the walls have been converted into clear glass. And inside of it, you just see a mass of plant life and flowers of different colors, almost every color you can think of. There's like a different flower growing in this thing. And in there you see a tall elven woman, I guess. Long braided hair, fine clothing, very pleasing, like welcoming face and demeanor. And she kind of looks over and looks down and sees you all walking by and just kind of gives a nice smile and kind of waves down to you all and goes back to tending her plants.
I return. Just a big like,
Hey.
The neighbors seem nice. Are these our neighbors?
If you decide to take the place, yes, these will be your neighbors. Fala here is very fond of plant life and nature in general, as you can see, as he points up to the 3rd floor. She's also a very skilled apothecary as well.
Is there a sign?
There is not.
Okay. What was the name of this? The proprietor?
Fala. F-A-L-A.
There's an image.
And then a few buildings down, you notice that there seems to be kind of like a street that intersects the alley. And not so much a street as it is just more of a path from the north and the south that kind of creates 2 different entrances to the alleyway.
Okay.
And on the southern entrance, one of the buildings on the western side of it, it's a pretty small, plain, unassuming looking building. But you see a kind of taller, bulky dude with like short black hair, a thick black beard, and the parts of him that you can see, since he's bundled up in winter clothing, are kind of, his skin's a little bit darker and rougher, looks like it's kind of weathered. But as you guys are walking by, he kind of turns around and sees a lot of you, and you see him just scowl, and you see him mutter something under his breath, and he walks inside. And as he closes the door behind him, you see the sign above the door kind of shake a little bit from the door closing, and it says, Fruin's Brews.
Fruin?
Yep, F-R-E-W-N. Volo moves past without saying anything about it. And as you guys start to pass by the building, he kind of points to the north side of the alleyway, like across the street from this. And he points to the building, and when you look at it, it's, again, kind of a normal-looking building, but there's a sign hanging out in front of it, and it's just a blank sign that's painted with a large cat's eye on it. And Volo says, that's the tiger's eye. Vincent fancies himself a bit of a private investigator. He's a smart man, that one. Some would say too smart for his own good.
Why would they say that?
As I said, he fancies himself a private investigator, and his thirst for knowledge gets him into some sticky situations.
What was the name again?
The Tiger's Eye.
What was the person's name?
Vincent.
Vincent. At that, I will shoot. He's in the book.
Yeah. The look is reciprocated.
And next to that building is kind of like a larger looking like warehouse type of building, and it kind of like sticks out and takes up a good chunk of this area. And Volo kind of leads you around it and says, he kind of points out this another like tall 3-story building. And on the front of the building is a large sign that has painted on it is a golden dragon that seems to have wrapped itself and curled itself around a treasure hoard of books and scrolls. And above it, it says the Bookworm's Treasure.
This worm's
It is. If you thirst for knowledge or even just enjoy a casual read, Rishal's shop here is one of the best in town.
Rishal?
It's Rishal. Rishaal. Its walls hold a plethora of knowledge, and I myself have made many a purchase here.
Sounds quite interesting. Always like a good read.
It is quite comforting. Well, I think that's about it. That's most of what I wanted to show you. Well, now I guess it's time to see what you all came here for. And before we do that, here is a map of the alleyway.
Oh, hell yeah.
I want to use my telephone and take a picture of
What's the telephone?
Me too.
Oh, V3.
that. It's a pocket image capturer.
Yeah, so you guys entered through here. That was the first shop he told you about. That was Steam and Steel. That was the greenhouse building. That's where you saw Faroon's Brews.
Okay.
That was the Tiger's Eye, and that is the Bookworm's Treasure.
Okay.
And he kind of, all right, well, this way then. And he motions for you guys to kind of double back a bit. And he goes back to where the two kind of streetways seem to create those two entryways. And he leads you to the north one. And that space that says T1 there, you guys walk up and... Oh my god. And you see
Just got too much cool
this
shit.
building. This is Troll Skull Manor.
Yeah, it's dilapidated AF.
Oh man.
Sarmaia's face will fall.
See,
Sabian's face will light up and not at you.
and you see that it's a big building. It's 3 stories tall. There's a large turret on the top of it.
A turret like a gun? Or is a turret something else in
Like
this
a
case?
tower.
Okay.
And you see
Or
that
door guns.
it's got a small staircase that leads up to kind of a wooden walkway that leads up to the door.
How dilapidated is it? Like, is it like so much so that like weather has gotten into the building? You know what I mean? Like, or is it like just kind of beat up?
From the outside, you can't really tell.
That's fair.
It doesn't look. The house isn't like falling apart.
Right. Okay.
But it definitely looks like it hasn't been lived in years.
Okay, got it. So it's like very beat up for the neighborhood, but like it's
Yeah.
not literally falling apart.
How's it compared to my apartment?
What's that?
How's it compared to my family's apartment?
Well, it's much
It's not
larger.
Well, yeah, but the facade.
It's definitely much older.
Mhm.
Like I said, it's not like run down or anything like that. It's not like literally falling apart.
Right.
But
Okay.
you can tell right away it's going to need some work.
Okay.
So, would you all like to see the inside?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
All right. And he walks up, and you see him pull out a key, and he unlocks the front door. And you guys, let's see you guys head inside. And you walk in, and you see a tavern, tap room, where it's definitely hasn't had any action or love in a long time. You see that there's kind of like chairs kind of like on the floor, just thrown aside. There's like some broken dishes in part of it. There's tankers kind of scattered across the floor. There's some barrels in one corner. And yeah, it's not like thrashed, but it could use some cleaning up.
As we walk in, is it dark in here? Because
It is.
Dim
you
light?
Dim light, yeah.
You
It is-
see
it is the
Mavram
day.
pull down his shirt a little bit, and he exposes the 3-gem necklace, and at that, I'm going to cast the light cantrip out of it.
Cool.
So, just shines light from itself.
Straight pulls down his shirt and just light shines
Yeah,
out.
I mean, yeah, it's intentional.
And you see when he does this, you see is the sapphire in the middle?
It's the fire opal and the sapphire ruby.
Yeah, so you see like a almost glowing orange gem in the middle, and then to either side is a blue sapphire and then a red ruby. On a silver
How-
chain?
How big is this?
It encompasses probably about
massive for a
Well, it's
gemstone?
also it's inlaid in
Okay.
set in silver, so it's not
It's
not
not
gigantic.
Okay, it's not.
If the chain was any shorter, it'd be a choker.
And yeah, so this is the tavern. There is a wine and ale cellar underneath for storing of various things as one would need in a tavern. But he kind of points to a staircase in one of the corners. If you would like, we can go check out the rest of it. There are living quarters upstairs and plenty of space.
Yes, lead the way.
I will say this is quite an interesting establishment. You said there's a wine cellar downstairs. Is there anything left over?
If there is, it probably isn't drinkable.
Ooh.
Oh boy.
Got you.
My God.
Oh, holy shit.
Yeah. And it's lunch.
So, this is
Okay.
Troll Skull Manor.
Oh, dang.
So, this is the tap room that you guys are currently in.
Oh God.
First floor, second
Microphone
floor,
killing me.
third floor.
So you got a big old hearth right here. This is the staircase that he was pointing out. There's a hatch to the cellar behind the bar,
Where did we
pantry and
walk
kitchen
in?
area. You guys walked in right there.
Oh, okay.
So there's 2 entrances. There's one there and one there. And so he leads you up the set of stairs, and you guys end up here in this common room. You see an empty hearth. You definitely see like cobwebs and stuff like all over the place, but the upper floors aren't nearly as thrashed as the tap room is.
Okay.
These more look like they just haven't been lived in a long time. There's not a whole lot of furniture. The common room's pretty empty. There's basic beds in the bedrooms. So he takes you through, he shows you the hall. He points to the staircase at the right and says, well, that's the staircase that leads up to the next floor. If you'd like to see, there's a couple more rooms, and he takes you to this one. There's this room here. It's got a small terrace on the outside. As you see, a door with a wooden railing and platform on the outside of it.
What
And
does
then
the terrace look out on?
this one would look out,
Back.
out the back of the house. So you'd be kind of like looking over a couple buildings.
You'd be looking
Yeah.
Okay.
this way.
Got it.
Mhm. Yeah, so you would see those buildings behind it.
Because I assume the turret is here
Yep.
on all floors. Okay.
Oh, word. Okay, I can tell from now.
And then he leads you back through here. This is a nice den and sitting area, more common space, and he leads you through it. You can see the hearth goes through both sides, so lighting one fire would be able to heat both of those rooms. And he kind of points out that there's another terrace on the other side, which would look over the front of the building into the alleyway, and then shows you the other bedroom there. Would you guys like to go see the next floor?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yeah, he leads you up the stairs, so you end up coming up through here. He points, there's a privy there, and there's another one around the corner. And then he takes you around in between. There's another staircase that goes up to the next level. In here is what would make a great library or a study room. He opens the door. As you can see, like the rest of the house, has not seen much use. And then takes you around, shows you the master bedroom. And then through here, there is also a private bath.
The bedroom has its own bathroom?
Well, it's connected, yes. There is a second entrance that comes out, but if you would like to keep it
How
Just
many
in the bedroom?
bathrooms are in this house?
free.
Whoa.
Well, there's 2 privies and 2 actual bathrooms
Yeah.
where you would take a bath.
I've never seen so many bathrooms in one building.
The rich do live a different life.
You're not wrong.
They don't wait to use the bathroom.
All right, now let's see the attic, and he leads you up that staircase here. Actually, it's this one here. You guys came up that one, and you guys end up in this hallway here. And he shows you the 2 rooms. This one was previously just used for storage, but it's plenty big enough for another living quarters if you so need it. And this one was being used as a living quarters, as he points out the attic bedroom. And then he points to. Oh no, he doesn't point. So that was it. This is the place.
I want the biggest bedroom.
Mine's being pretty run down. This is actually quite a nice building.
Yeah, nice digs.
You can definitely be fixed up.
So, would you consider this your payment?
The construction of the building. What is it? What is the construction of the building? Is this all wooden floor? Is this all stone? What?
On the upper floors, it's definitely all wooden.
Okay.
But the wood seems like relatively intact.
Yeah, it's not like rotting away or falling
Okay.
out or anything.
Like
that.
that's my main concern.
Yeah.
Like, if it's like I don't care if it's like old as long as it's not falling apart.
It's got
Yeah,
good
you can tell
bones.
you're definitely gonna
Yeah.
have to do repairs, but it's not
Like-
like you're gonna have to
But
replace
it's-
an entire floor.
It's well built. It's not maintained, but like it's you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
well built, not very well maintained.
This looks fine by me. What do you all think?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, like there's more than room for all of us to have our own room here, which saves us just in like living costs.
Oh,
That is true.
this is very nice.
And I mean,
I think we can make something
there's
work
even
here.
a chance of us getting that tavern up and running.
Yes, it will take a bit of work. It might take you a little bit of
but-
time, but it is definitely
I mean-
doable.
No, I don't see why not.
It will.
I mean,
As you can see, it's going to cost you a little bit of coin, but
Sure.
nothing you can't manage, I'm
Figure
sure.
out a way to pay for it.
You obviously seem to be quite resourceful after last night's events.
Some of us.
I mean, I would say if you guys get this tavern up and running and I'm still in town, I'd definitely frequent it.
Well, that's good to
We've
know.
got our first patron, guys.
There you go. So he starts to lead you guys back downstairs, and he says, "Oh, I
So
almost
many
forgot.
finger
I know.
That's how I shoot fireballs.
I was
Uh,
the guy that has a finger gun picture. and stuff.
well, I'm a fan. I'm a connoisseur, really.
You guys are gonna
Alright.
get along great.
he takes you down from the attic back down to the 3rd floor and says, "Oh, I almost forgot. There's a turret that opens up to the top, and he brings you over here to this small room that he kind of just brushed by and didn't mention. But he opens the door and you see it's just a small circular area with a ladder going straight up. And if you would like to take a look,
Sarmea will jump on that chance, and she wants to try to get there before anyone else.
yeah, unless anybody else is trying to fight to get up this ladder.
Nope.
So Sarmea kind of pushes through.
Before that, I would like to trip her.
I figured that was coming.
Should
I
do
get to
an
roll
attack
too,
roll?
alright.
Attack roll?
Yeah.
Oh, only a 10.
Which does not hit.
No.
Yeah. Alright.
So she's wising up to your antics. As you go to stick your foot out, she kind of looks down and steps right over it. But in her excitement, doesn't retaliate, and she just kind of hops over your foot and runs and starts to climb up the ladder. You get to the top, and you throw open the hatch, and you just get like a good pile of snow falls right down.
Yeah, get wrecked.
So Maria's gonna giggle at first and then go and look down at her gown. How's my gown look? Oh, you know what? I probably still have my cloak on. No, I would have taken RP wise. I would have taken it off because I'm a fancy bitch in this house. I'd be
In this house.
In this house.
if I can
I'm a
say,
fancy bitch.
if I can say, I dropped my cloak on the ground before going up this ladder.
Okay.
How does my dress look?
I mean, it's got like a couple small wet spots where the snow hit it, but I mean, it's not damaged or
ruined?
anything like that.
Okay. And then, so the snow falls through, and then I want to peek through.
Right down your cleavage.
Yeah, so you push open the hatch and you go to like take a peek out, and you just see like a couple 6-7 inches of snow built up around that little opening. But you're able to you go up to the top of the ladder and you just kind of peek around, and you sit high above the buildings. There's only a couple
And
buildings
that's
that.
here.
Yep, that's
Okay.
that little guy right there.
Got it.
Can you only access this ladder through the third floor?
Yes,
Is that right?
yeah,
Okay.
right here.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you notice on the second floor and first floor, it's kind of just like a nook area
Okay.
below
Yeah,
that.
Alright.
So yeah,
She'll look around for a second and think to herself,
and you see the beautiful dingy sky over the city, snow lightly falling all around you.
she'll be proud of her city and she'll think to herself, this will be a great place to bring dates. And then she's going to walk back down.
You got some horn dogs.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's just one of them. That's one of you.
You come back down, and Bolo sees the snow still kind of on your shoulders. So, is the turret peak to your liking?
Yeah.
So this will do then.
Oh,
definitely.
it's awesome.
Good. Well, in that case, I have an acquaintance who would be willing to meet with us at High Sun to make this transfer happen.
Yeah.
Shall we?
My son is noon or occurs?
Just checking.
Fair question.
We're a plate.
Before we all leave the room, you
Yes.
see him. You see Mavram kind of look over at Sunman and goes, "Here, let me get that." And he casts Mage Hand and wipes off the snow and dismisses it.
Thank you. Sarmay is going to grab her cloak and put it on. And then also she wants to run down back to the first floor to the top room area and do a thing.
Yeah. So are you trying to run down there ahead of everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
She's like a little kid trying to pick out her bedroom in a new house.
There's no rooms on the first floor.
Right, she wants to go to the top room though. She is scouting for a stage area where she wants the stage to be for her future performances.
Fair enough.
Bold.
And I'm sorry, you said this building is made out of wood?
For the most part, yeah.
Okay. She's
Try
looking
not
for
to burn
a
it down.
stage.
Fire blood.
Yeah, so Sarmea kind of pushes, she comes down the ladder, and after the snow gets wiped off her, she just pushes past everybody, and you see her just bolt right down the stairs. Everybody was heading that way anyways, so, but you guys don't rush. So a couple 30 seconds later, the rest of the group joins you in the tap room.
She's just kind of standing around doing this and going,
Yeah, and you guys walk down and see her doing that. You see her kind of you're not sure what she's planning out, but you definitely see her making plans in her head, looking around.
we can definitely fit a stage in here.
A stage? What?
Well,
Right, because you're a bard.
Yep.
Savian will point to the turret area, column, and just be like, that area is pretty open there. That would make a good stage.
Yeah, I'm just worried that not enough people could see me from there. I can make it work, though.
It's all in how you project.
Yeah. I can project from there.
Well, sounds like you all will take to this quite nicely.
Yes, let's fill out whatever paperwork we need to.
What time is it now?
I'd say it's probably around 11-ish.
Okay, so high sun is not too far.
Yeah, so he's basically we should be on our way then.
couldn't help myself.
let's go get you your new home.
Yes, let's.
And
Yes,
then,
let's.
as you all leave the building, Volo locks the door behind you guys, and I think that's what we're going to call it tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Cool. And just to make sure everybody
Haunted
at
house.
home gets to see this guy, I'll hold it
Yeah.
up for you. This is the
Ermiger!
Control School Man map from Beetle and Grimm's. It's super awesome and also printed on canvas,
Yeah.
which is super rad.
There will be pictures on our socials.
Just
there
like
will.
our sweet Waterdeep map that we also have.
Oh, fuck
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't wait to turn this into our base
Base of operations.
of
We
operations.
have a
Wingman.
lair.
Well, shall we?
Yeah, thank you guys
Yeah.
again for joining us.
Thank you.
Don't forget to check out the podcast, the Swordcast Adventures. We have a new episode coming out this next Monday.
That we do.
And we will be doing this
True.
again 2 weeks from today.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, you can also catch me on Wojak Academy on Tuesdays on Dungeons and Dragons on at twitch.tv.
Mm-hmm.
No.
I'm an enthusiast. What can I say? I like puns. I like puns.
I like puns. I
I'm
like
a-
Dungeons and Dragons.
And
I'm a connoisseur.
that's what we got for you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.
Hell yeah.
I don't want to end.
And we're out.